the server-side environment is like at Google. Because I think, when we talk about Kubernetes, it's very much inspired by the infrastructure at Google, but I think there's this synthesis around both what's done at Google, but then also what the real world is like outside of Google. So containers at Google and Google's own internal platform is really pretty fascinating. So it's all built on this system called Borg. You may have heard about this. And this has been built up over about 10 years as a way to get the most out of Google's computers. Google runs a lot of computers. They run some very large-scale distributed applications. And over time, they built internal systems to be able to run those applications efficiently and to provide a platform internally for their application teams to be able to create new applications and get them launched as soon as possible, as reliably as possible. And so this is what Borg is. Now, this all started with MapReduce. MapReduce was the system that Google built that inspired Hadoop. So these are a lot of technologies in the big data space. And early on, Google essentially had two different types of workloads. It was all about serving search. But they had to be able to crawl and index, which was kind of a batch big data problem. And then they had to be able to load that stuff up and serve it with low latency, which was a server problem. So from the very beginning, Google had these dual workloads of actually large-scale big data type of work with MapReduce and then serving. And then originally, what they had is separate sets of computers for doing these things. And so all of the batch data was built on this custom-built system called WorkQueue. That was really about sort of doing one batch thing at a time, and then they had dedicated machines for serving. After living in this world for a while, and I wasn't involved in this was before my time at Google, they took a step back and said, can we build one system that actually solves both of these problems? So that ended up being Borg. Along the way, Google started working inside the Linux kernel to create some of the fundamental technologies that enable the container ecosystem that we have today. This is kernel C groups inside the Linux kernel.